Hey guys, Stress here from the Team Dignitas house in LA. I'm here with Scarra and Crumbzz. It's just after day one of week number 2, so after our games against Coast. So we got pretty much 6 games to kind of not go piece by piece, but let's just talk about overall how season 3 summer split is going so far. So right now we're sat at 3-3. We obviously last week finished the week 2-3, and you must have been asked this question a lot, but what were your thoughts, Scarra, on going 2-3 overall last week?
That weird shit. That's literally the first thing I thought. I was like, man, we suck. But yeah, I don't know. Luckily, we were able to turn it around this week. We seem to be doing a lot better.
And Crumbzz, last week we saw a lot of Zach being played. What were your thoughts on your performance on Zach and Zach overall, how it fit in with our champions?
It got banned, so I couldn't play it today. I wanted to just have all Zach if possible, so I could just, no matter what, leave with glory of being one champion in the entire LCS. But last week's LCS on Zach was absolutely atrocious. I had a couple of good engages, but the majority were just pretty awful. And I practiced it a bit more, but I still need some work on the champion. And then this week simply the strategy that we had going for benefited more from another champion. So it's not good to only be playing one champion.
Yeah, of course, but I mean, if it's available,
yeah,
as you said,
No, I mean, even if it's available, sometimes you just opt for something that works better with what you're looking for in that specific team comp.
So, I mean, I'd kind of be amiss if I didn't bring up the CLG game from last week, because regardless of what people say about it, it's not often that games go to 71 minutes. So, I mean, arguably, we've spoken before about how 30 minutes into the game, it kind of looked like it should have been over. Like, what were your thoughts, like, kind of as the game progressed further and further, Scarra?
Well, first thing was we should have won the game. That's no question. We got 5k gold. We took mid turret. We pressured bottom. But the one thing I didn't do enough that game was I should have controlled the pace of the game a lot better. Me and Crumbzz should have been able to 4-man die bot when they stayed for 4 waves. And then after bot, I rotate top. And this was like 12 minutes in the game. If I had been able to do that and just give away some CS mid rather than take mid turret, I would have been able to clean up the game and close it out within like 20. But I was much more comfortable isolating the lanes because when we accelerate the game, a lot of times we don't know how to close. So I kind of was really comfortable just sitting mid, CSing for free and getting the turret way before him. But honestly, like that's really bad play. Like I should have roamed a lot more. And so like I don't even regard like what happened in the last 30 minutes is like relevant. It doesn't matter. We should have closed out the game within the first 30. And the last 30 was just like both teams watching team fights.
And is that something that we've maybe worked on in scrims over the past week? Is that something that actively is worked on, or does scrims not quite work like that?
No, I agree with what he said about the 30 everything that happened after 30 minutes, because most games you should be able to decide before 30 minutes very clearly. So practicing past that point can be useful, but in reality you should be able to either win or be defeated before 30 minutes, because that's the pace that the game should have. But in our scrims, you look to play games fast, because oftentimes if you can play faster than the opponent, that means that you're controlling the pace of the game. So somebody's always looking to play, how can we accelerate the game faster than they can? So that'll always give you the advantage to essentially control the pace. And although it may not look, the games may be way faster, but since you are just moving quicker than they are, the games happen faster and people lose faster.
And this week we saw, in the first game that we've had against Coast, we saw a different strategy than we've shown in public a lot. I know it's something we worked on in scrims this past week. How did that kind of TF swap with yourself and Kiwi come about? Of course, I mean, you probably don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to give away too much.
Well, it's just like each player has certain champions they're really good on, or like have played a lot. In general, that's what you look for. I felt like it was kind of a waste of talent to put Kiwi on only top lane champions and me to be put only on mid lane champions, because like while I'm actively trying to learn new champions, I feel like there's a lot of there's just some champions where like I'm gonna take a lot longer to learn, and that restricts my team from being able to play with new champions and being able to play and develop strategies like well ahead of time. So I felt like it was best that like I talked to Kiwi about it before I presented the team, but I just wanted the lane swap for certain champions, and TF is definitely one of them. I felt that he had put in more TF games than I have. Like he's actually like a TF main. He used to main like Ash TF and a couple other champions, and so he's put in way more TF games than me. He can conceptualize the gank better, and he just plays the laning phase better. So I knew that if I could just play like a top lane learn like a top lane champion and play it, it'd be more beneficial for our team because we're able to play like a really strong champion. And so yeah.
Yeah, I got to agree. I kind of agree with you. We saw in the first gank that Kiwi had that he went down in the bot lane and then picked up the kill and then gave suicided to the tower. So Kiwi, even though he's normally playing top, seems to be able to visualize those plays.
I think he called to go bottom, but I called for him to suicide because I don't think he realized how close they were. But I was like, just like it's not even good to risk it. I just told him to run to the tower, and he like just immediately was like, okay, I'll do it. And so that was really really smart because it wasted two people's time, and bot lane was able to get out for free.
And as a jungler, when you have that kind of swap up in positions across the map with the top laner playing the mid role, which a lot of people regard mid and jungle to be fairly the backbone of the team as you kind of end the laning phase in towards the mid game. How does that affect the communication, or if any way at all?
I mean, the communication's still the same. If somebody's making a call on mid lane, I mean, simply the roles kind of switch. That's what I mean. For instance, top lane tends to be less vocal than a mid lane player because they have, it's restricted to only one side of the map. That doesn't mean that they can't look at the other sides and make decisions in the entire game. But for that game, I felt like the three. Actually, let's just leave it at that.
Okay, well, I mean, I didn't want to take too much of your guys' time because I know we do still have scrims and discussion going on ahead of tomorrow's game against Curse. So I want to thank you guys for joining me on the couch. I know that we did a small one of these when Lumpy was out here just a couple of months ago. So we'd like to catch up with you guys, and of course you can follow these guys on Twitter and at @Scarra and at Crumbzz with two Z's. It is on Twitter as well. So make sure you subscribe to us here on YouTube as well. Follow us on Twitter at Team Dignitas, and I'm at Dignitas Stress on Twitter as well. So make sure you follow us, subscribe, and you'll get all of our content as soon as we release it. So on towards tomorrow's games against Curse and the rest of the Season 3 Summer Split.